And thank you for joining us for Broncos Postgame Live. I am Phil Milani alongside Todd Davis, Steve Atwater, and Nick Ferguson. Hey, we knew this was going to be a defensive game, so I brought the trio here. No one better to break this one down as the Broncos lost 17-10 in Tennessee. Todd, let's start with you. I mean, the Broncos offense was pretty much non-existent in that second half.
Yeah, I was really frustrated with their performance. Coming off a bye, you think this would be the best performance that the offense has had all season. You had 2 weeks to prepare. You should have a phenomenal game plan, and it should look great. And it really didn't. I don't know why it's not clicking. Maybe Jerry Jeudy was a big part in that game plan that they put together, but they're still not clicking. They still haven't found the switch and changed momentum. So, I'm frustrated with their performance today.
This was supposed to be sort of a tipping point game. You know, a lot of talk this week about if the Broncos had turned the page and they were going to start clicking now. Steve, it just didn't happen today.
It didn't happen. I have to say, though, I got to give my hat off, take my hat off to the defense. They played an extremely good game. They were able to hold Derrick Henry, 60 or so yards, 50, 60 yards. Did a great job all the way around. Except for that flea flicker. We gave up the flea flicker there. But offense still having the struggles. The injury bug hit us again. And just not a good brand of football.
Nick, what did you think?
I'm thoroughly disappointed. I mean, I don't know about you guys. Todd say frustrated was the word. I mean, if I could, I would go Incredible Hulk right now and rip my T-shirt off. But I will not do that. But, yes, this team has been very disappointing. And you're right, Todd. You had 2 weeks to prepare for the Titans' defense. No Zach Cunningham, no Jeffrey Simmons, and we still can't move the ball down the field. My biggest problem, not just with the play calling at times, it's just protection up front. I don't care who you are. You can, pile on Russ all you want to. I don't care. You can bring Tom Brady and even John Elway. He would not be able to move the ball down the field with that much pressure.
Yeah, the Titans were without 5 starters on the defensive side of the ball. And I agree with you guys, the Broncos defense, they held Derrick Henry to just 53 yards rushing. If I would have told you that before the game, you would have said the Broncos won this thing. Let's check out the highlights. We'll show you how it unfolded out at Nissan Stadium here for the Broncos. They had the bye week. You would think that they would be rested. And Russell Wilson and company just not getting things done here. If we could go to the highlights out in Tennessee. Russ, looking for a spark here in the first half. And as we mentioned, Jerry Jeudy left with an ankle injury. No problem, though. Jalen Virgil, his first career catch, 66-yard touchdown. Todd, what did you see on that play? How did he get so wide open?
I think they were playing a form of cover 2. You had that safety squeeze in the Cortland Sutton who's run down the middle of the field wide open. That leaves Jalen Virgil wide open to score his first touchdown and his first catch. Great job, young man.
Yeah, that'll be a trivia question someday. The Broncos were up 10-7 at halftime. The Titans, they got a little trickeration here. A flea flicker. Nick Westbrook-Ikini, 63 yards. It looked like P.J. Locke and Damari Mathis collided on that. The Broncos were down 7 late. What else is new? It's 4th down and 8 here. Russ looking to do something, some magic. Looks for Cortland Sutton, and it's just not there. The Broncos go on to lose 17-10. The final, obviously, Russell Wilson frustrated. He was sacked 6 times in this game. The final, 17-10. And, guys, just a tough day all around. 313 total yards for the Broncos on offense, most of that coming in the first half. The turnovers, Broncos just struggled all around, guys. What is going on with this offense?
Yeah, man, who knows? I mean, you look at the stats; they look pretty similar. We really beat them. We beat them in time of possession of the football, but we couldn't score points, and it didn't look like we had a ton of separation from the receivers. And Russell Wilson seemed like he had enough time to throw the ball many times, but nobody was open. And if nobody's open, that's what you got to do. You got to eat it. You got to run yourself, or you got to throw the ball out of bounds.
Yeah, I mean, the Broncos were down at the wide receiver position, already without K.J. Hamler. Jerry Jeudy left this game almost, I think it was the first play on offense. He got hurt, so that's got to affect everything. And then all of a sudden you're just thinking, okay, Dulcich, is it Sutton? Who's going to step up, Todd?
Yeah, there were so many injuries in there. It's like injuries keep continue to plague the offense and the team as a whole. I was talking maybe I should burn some sage or say some prayers. I don't know what's going on with the team, but we want to get this turned around. The injuries are definitely affecting us along the wide receiver core. The O-line is banged up. You got a lot of guys trying to fill in and do a great job, but I think it's too much movement, not enough guys in sync, and building chemistry over time is not really happening because so many guys are going down and up. Hopefully we can get it figured out at some point.
Yeah, Billy Turner left this game with a knee injury. Graham Glasgow left this game with a shoulder injury. Luke Wattenberg and Russ, they probably don't have any kind of chemistry. I mean, Wattenberg, the third string center there, comes in, and it looked like that exchange was a little bit difficult.
Well, that's always hard to do, especially if you're the third-team center. You're not getting first-team reps with the starting quarterback, and that makes that quarterback-center exchange really difficult. There was one particular play where you saw Dalton Reisner looking at Wattenberg like, hey, what's going on? One went one way, the other went the left, and Russ ends up getting sacked. But this is where you have to get your guys on the sideline, start to talk and say, okay, listen, we can't push the ball down the field with the vertical passing game and those deep routes because you guys can't hold up. We saw the Broncos successfully use the quick game against Jacksonville. That's what I thought was going to be the recipe for this game. Up-tempo, quick throws, establish some kind of a rhythm. And I'm really disappointed that the Broncos, in that trade with, sending Bradley Chubb to Miami, you acquired Chase Edmonds. He wasn't really involved in his offense like I thought he was going to be. So that was a big disappointment for me.
Yeah, Edmonds got just a couple catches there. It looked like maybe he was going to provide a spark, but it just didn't materialize for the Broncos here today as they lose 17-10 to the Tennessee Titans. Let's go out to Nissan Stadium and check in with Eric Dalala.
Thanks, Phil. Yeah, tough one here in Tennessee. Unfortunately, as the Broncos fall 17-10. Just too many mistakes, again, across the board. The Broncos seem to get something going on offense early in the game. They jump out to that 10-point lead. Obviously, Jalen Virgil makes the big play there, and then he had a field goal, but fortunately just not able to sustain success. And on the offensive side of the ball, you lose two more guys along the offensive line. You're down to a rookie center in Luke Wattenberg. We saw some issues with the exchanges there. Ultimately just gave up too much pressure, not able to get things going on offense, and pushed it a little bit toward the end of the game, almost found a way into the end zone, but ultimately fell short there offensively. Again, 10 points. That's just not going to get it done in this league. Defensively, we saw him play well, held Derrick Henry in check. Really, he didn't dominate the game. The Broncos did what they needed to do against him, but again, just gave up too many plays in critical moments. End of the first half, I thought was a big momentum shift. And then in the third quarter, the Titans come back and take the lead. It seems like this defense just wasn't able to get off the field in those situations, but hard to ask much more from them than to hold this team to 17 points. So, Phil, again, we're standing here. It's a different location, but same storyline. Broncos just don't do enough offensively to get it done.
These games are looking all too familiar. Eric, thank you very much. You look a little lonely out there with Steve here in studio with us. Let's go right back out there and look at the podium where Broncos head coach Nathaniel Hackett is meeting the media.
We'll start with the injury update. Jerry Jeudy, he did not finish the game. He's got an ankle. We're hoping that we dodged a bullet there, but we'll evaluate and see how long he'll be. Billy Turner's a knee. We'll have to evaluate that and see where that goes. K1, a knee also, and Graham Glasgow, a shoulder. All four guys we'll have to see once we get back to Denver and are able to evaluate them.
How disheartening it is when you hold Henry, I think it was 53 yards, you have a 10-point lead, and then aren't able to find a way to finish this.
Yeah, I mean, we were doing some good things in that first half again, and third down continually gets us. We got to be sure that we got to keep mixing it up as much as we can. Had to throw some guys in there, and I loved watching them battle. Jalen Virgil came up big for us on an audible that Russ had, which was great to see, but we got to do a great job protecting Russ, and we got to find a way to run the ball.
Hey, Russell was hit, I think, 16, 17 times today. How disappointing was that, and is that just part of having so many different guys injured?
I mean, it's a combination of a lot of things. We wanted to mix it up. We wanted to try to max protect. We wanted a quick game. We wanted to do as much as we could to try to keep the defense off and protect those guys, and at the same time be able to protect Russ. And it just wasn't coming together. And it's unfortunate because it's another close game, another one-score game, and we feel like the defense stepped up to the challenge with Derrick Henry. I give our defense so much credit, and the offense has to find a way. We're one scores each time.
Halftime again in the third quarter, second half overall.
Third down, I think third down's one of the biggest things. I mean, we have to be able to convert on third down. And, I mean, whenever we get those explosive plays, we start moving the ball a little bit. But, I mean, again, the third down is kind of what's continually gotten us. We're almost better on fourth down, I think. So we got to get better there.
Nate, they're right before the halftime, their touchdown from the 9-yard line. Kind of, you feel like kind of a swing point in the game there. You still had a 10-7 lead, but 3rd and 9 for them to split it.
Yeah, I mean, that was unfortunate that we gave that long drive up, but, I mean, the defense did their job. They did a great job throughout the game. We had that 10-0 lead, and offense has to score again. I mean, that was early in the game, and we got to be sure we put points up. It's that simple.
Yeah, you mentioned the one-score games, and I think it's now 5 or 6 losses or one-score games. You guys have been in all of them. How do you continue to preach the same message to this group, and then what's maybe the move in the locker room for these guys moving forward?
I mean, I think they see it. For me, it's about accountability. It's about holding myself accountable first, the coaches accountable, and the players accountable. As long as we point the things out that we can correct and get better on, and everybody understands what that is and what we need to do to be able to go on a run at some point during this season, I think they'll be able to stay together. I mean, that's what this is. We're teachers. We're out there trying to teach them how to be successful out on that field, and all we can do is continually teach, and then they go out there and they have the opportunities to make those plays. So we'll continue that message and keep growing.
Past couple weeks, how much work has Wattenberg got with the number 1 offense in practice?
Well, we lost Lloyd in Jacksonville, so we had to get Graham up to speed with Russ. So Luke did not get as much with Russell. So that was a little bit of something they had to work out and get some extra snaps and so forth. So we'll have to make sure we get Luke going again.
This impact how you had to do some things in the second half? I mean, you had 2 offensive linemen that were 3rd on the depth chart at their position in the game.
Yes, for us, we wanted to try to do things to be able to help them up at the line as much as be able to still get the ball and still be able to try to win the game. I mean, that's where it's hard sometimes because you want to be aggressive, you want to attack, you want to do certain things throughout the game, and but at the same time you have to take into perspective there's some guys that haven't played a lot together out there, and you want to try to put them in the best positions possible to be successful. So we tried to mix it up, and some things hit, some did not.
What gives you confidence that you can go on a run at this point? Because
I think you can always go on a run in this league. I really do. I think if we can keep some guys healthy, get some guys back, hopefully get Jerry back, get KJ back, all these different guys, game plan for those guys and get a good plan. You have to adjust during the game when things like that happen. But I think in this league, you always have an opportunity to go on a run if you can get everybody clicking together.
Was Justin close to playing? Do you think he's going to miss more time?
He's day to day. I think he is close, and he's just he needs at least another week.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Thank you all.
We'll have Russell.
That's Broncos head coach Nathaniel Hackett at the podium after the 17-10 loss to the Tennessee Titans. We're back here in studio. Todd Davis, Steve Atwater, Nick Ferguson. I am Phil Milani. We got a lot to react to from Coach Hackett right there, but we'll go right back out to the podium and hear from Russell Wilson right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely frustrating, to feel like we could have won that game and just, so many, we had some good moments. We had some not so good moments. We were battling, obviously to see Billy go down. That wasn't easy on us. And then, Glasgow going down, Luke tried to step in, it was the first time being in there. I thought he battled, tried to do everything he could, and same thing with Quinn over on the right side too. And I mean, but I think the reality is we got to find ways to win these games. It's been 5-6 games or so, that are one-score games, and so I got to find a way for us to get 2 more touchdowns. We got to find a way to, I think we got to find a way to get 2 more touchdowns a game. And I think that we were able to do that in London. We didn't do it tonight. As tough as the game was, and as tough physical as it was. We were able to get the first down in the 4th and 6 or whatever it was when I ran it to the left. That was big, and then we were moving the ball down the field. We thought like we were going to be able to win it, and then got sacked on that one, and then it was 4th and long, and they went off sides, and then the last play, we almost had it. I got hit right when I threw it, but I got to be able to make that. I got to be able to make that and find a way to make that. It's just it's disappointing because I really believe in who we are. and the guys that we have. And as frustrating as it's been, to see guys like Virgil step in. Obviously, the first play of the game, Judy unfortunately goes down. He was going to be wide open on that, and then he just, hurt his ankle or whatever it was, and just so much. It's been tough. It's been tough, but we're not going to give up. That's for sure. And we know that as tough as it's been, and as good as we should be, and even though we've lost a lot of great players this season, really, the reality is that we still have opportunity to answer these moments. And I'm going to do everything I can to find a way to answer those moments coming forward. We still got games left. We still have moments where we can be better, and the next thing we can do is just focus on the next moment.
Russell, 6 sacks, I think 20 times you were hit. How are you feeling, first of all, and then second, what was it to get into a rhythm?
Yeah, it was definitely a physical game. I mean, I think, and like I said, when you're starting right tackle, it goes down, and then, you have guys to step in, and Quinn, I thought, battled, and like I said, Luke, tried to battle too. They made, it was physical for sure. I don't think, that was a lot of times, we got hit there, but in the reality is it's a physical game. We knew they were going to be physical. The Titans are a good football team. We knew it was going to be a battle. I believe in all these guys, man. I was telling the guys on the last drive before we went out there, all the linemen and all the tight ends and receivers and everybody's like, hey, we can do this. We're going to do this. We can do this. And we almost did. Try to make a play on 4th down. Didn't work. So physically, I'm good. I'm all right.
Russ, I remember when Jerry went out early in the Houston game, he talked about how he was pretty heavy into the game plan.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was the same way today. How much does this impact things when you have that many key guys to the game plan going out so early?
Yeah, it's been kind of crazy just to to see some of our guys go down as much as we have. Unfortunately, I mean we got some world-class players that we don't have out there, but the good thing is that Cortland keeps leading them. Kendall Hinton, his ability to step up and step in today was amazing. I have all the confidence in the world in him. When he's a world-class athlete too. He made some great plays today. Guys like Virgil, like I mentioned, he's been working his butt off every day. Finally got his chance. And so as dark as it's been and as tough as it's been, I know there's light on the other side of the tunnel, and so the reality for us is that we got games left, and we got something to play for, man. We got to play for each other. We got to play for this team just as a whole. We got to play for Broncos country. We got to play for just the pride, man. We got to bring it. We got to bring it every day. And the thing is that as disappointing is that I know as much as we're working our butts off, we just all got to be better at it. And like I said, I'll do whatever it takes, man. I'll do whatever it takes. I got to try to run for it, throw it, whatever. Got to move around, whatever. We got to win these games, and that's the expectation. That's the expectation is to win games and to find ways to do it. And we're not meeting that yet, but we're going to. We're going to. We have to. We have to. And I'm not gonna blink on that.
Time for a few more for Russell.
Surprising going into your 10th game of the year that you're playing for pride in this one.
I mean, you're always playing for that. I mean, you're always playing for, when as a team you get there early and guys put the work in and everything else, you're always playing for pride and respect of the game, and I think the thing is human nature tells you to start relaxing and giving in when it's tough, and I'm not going to allow that to happen here. I'm not going to allow that to happen here. Cortland talked to the team too. We're not going to allow that to happen. We're not going to give up and give in. That's not an option. So the only thing I know, the only thing we know, and the guys in there is that to keep believing and keep working. And the crazy thing about it is that it's a playoff football team. We should be 1-2. We haven't played like it at all. But as much as we've lost guys and gone down and everything else, we still can battle against some of the best. And and so what we have to do is understand that, keep developing the young guys like Jalen and I think Kendall's such a special guy. guys up front, like I said, Luke, he had to play, obviously quite a bit here. So, sometimes your name's called and we had to go. And so that's where these guys' growth is going to happen. And we're going to do everything we can to make sure that happens.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Yep, appreciate it.
This Broncos quarterback, Russell Wilson, a little bit of a different demeanor up there from Russ. Normally talking about how, hey, it's a close loss, but we'll get this thing turned around. Now he's talking about playing for each other, playing for pride. I guess that's sort of where the Broncos are right now.
Yeah, he didn't seem like his normal self. They have to come together and play for pride, like you said. I mean, you definitely don't want to be one of the worst teams in the team history. You want to go out there and put on a good show for everybody. Coach Nathaniel Hackett continues to talk about third down. And yes, third downs are a problem, but I believe it becomes a problem when first and second down aren't working well for you. When you're not able to get your team into a 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, manageable third downs, now third downs become a problem. So I think we need to do more work on first and second down to put us in better position to win on third down.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they talked about this week. I mean, they said, hey, it starts with first and second down. But it seems like even though they know that's the issue, all the time they're in 3rd and long, Steve.
Yeah, I agree with Todd and both you guys. First and second down is extremely important. But third down, if you're in the situations that we're in, you do have to convert those as well. On the season, we're at 29%, whereas the rest of the NFL is right around 40%. So we're behind the NFL in that area. And then today we were at 23% conversion on third down. So that is an area that we have to improve on. But I agree, the first couple of downs are super important as well.
The Broncos have the second worst third down percentage in the league. A bad week to try and get that corrected because the Titans have the best third down defense in the NFL. But they were missing some starters. I mean, Nick, it's frustrating.
Yeah, it is frustrating, but here's where it comes down to me. It is execution and play calling. Like everyone has said already, it's all about, being positive on first and second downs. How can you do that if you're shooting yourself on the foot in penalties? When you look at the Broncos, and as far as another bad day in penalties, 8 for 50 yards. And you look at where the Broncos were on third down, 4 for 17. You are not going to win a lot of games in the NFL with those types of stats. So I know everyone wants to blame, Nathaniel Hackett. They want to talk about Russell Wilson, but there's enough blame to go around for everyone. Play calling and execution. If you don't have those two things working in tandem, it's going to be very hard for your offense.
The Broncos, 19 false starts this season. I mean, those are just drive killers. I mean, simple thing. I mean, that's not even a penalty to try and make a play or something. That's just pre-snap.
I think when you're playing with a lot of guys who aren't starters either, that makes a huge difference. Not only in the level of play, the level of talent, because if they were, they were super talented, guess what? They'd probably be starting. So you got to take that into account. These guys aren't starters. Everybody on that team aren't starters, but they're playing and they're playing as well as they can. And it can certainly be better in our opinion. But with all the injuries that we have, we gotta kind of take that. We gotta take that into consideration as well.
But even with what you're saying, Steve, this is where as a play caller, now it's about the quick game. Now you have to make the game plan simple so you guys can go out there and execute because we know what the opponent knows, and Nathaniel Hackett should already know. We know this offensive line is beat up, and they can't handle any types of pressure, twists, stunts, whatever it is. I don't know what's going on with the communication, but when you have those type of situations with your offense, you have to simplify so you're able to execute.
Yeah.
Well, I would say with the Titans, though, with the type of defense that they play a zone coverage where they don't get too deep. They're shallow right there to take away those quick passes. So they have the perfect defense to go against the type of offense, that quick game and, the quick passes in that as well.
Russell Wilson was sacked 6 times today. He was 21 of 42. I mean, he's completing 50% of his passes. 286 yards, a touchdown, and then the late interception there. He said that he's physically okay, but he took a beating today, Todd.
He definitely did. And they were in some rough situations where he was trying to make things happen. I felt like he was scrambling for his life a lot of the time. And I wish they could have did more. What really frustrated me is, we were praying for a turnover the whole game because we felt like that was going to be our chance to get back in the game. We finally got one with the fumble by Malik Willis, 3 and out, and we're off the field. We have to make plays when they count. We can run flea flickers too. We can make big plays. We can make splashes. Whenever you get a turnover, it's time to take a shot, put some points on the board, and make the team regret it.
Yeah, because the Titans, they weren't really doing much, and then they score right before halftime, and then they get the flea flicker, and then boom, they won the game. And they had to make adjustments because I'm sure they were expecting Derrick Henry to be able to carry that offense. But when that wasn't working, they had to change the game plan. Ryan Tannehill back, but he still had that bum ankle. He couldn't really move. I mean, they made the adjustments as the game went on. And in a close game, I mean, Russell Wilson talks about the need to score 2 more touchdowns. Is that possible, Steve? You think this offense could score 2 more touchdowns?
They could, but, there would have to be some differences, some things that go differently. Obviously, the offensive line would have to hold up better. We'd have to get more separation from our receivers downfield. And then Russ would have to be able to see those guys open and be able to get the ball to them. But in the state that we're in now with the number of injuries that we've had and the stresses that the offense have just, going out and playing and trying to play at a high level with those injuries, I think it makes it very difficult.
It was a 4-point game for a while there, but it felt like it was a couple touchdown difference for it just seemed impossible.
Yeah, Phil, it felt that way. But once again, we're talking about how is it that this offense win more ball games? And it's football. It's simple. Score more points. It sounds really easy, but it's proven very difficult for this team to do. But once again, you have a guy like Chase Edmonds, wasn't really involved. Greg Dosich, a guy who's become a darling, especially in fantasy football, he's not involved in the offense. So we're talking about moving the ball down the field against the Titans defense. Even with guys being out, they're still a tough defense, but you have to make some of these guys back off. And the only way you do that is you have to attack them. This offense is not doing that. And once again, it's crazy that we're talking about this because we're going back to the Broncos, been on the bye for 2 weeks, and this is the type of offensive production you get after that time. To me, the role only gets more difficult moving forward.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. Steve and I were watching the game, and sometimes I feel like it may be X's and O's more than it is players not executing. There was times we were like, Russ, get rid of the ball. He's running. Like, just throw it. And then they'll pan to the widescreen, and we'll try to see if somebody was open, and nobody's open. Like, there's nobody for him to throw it to. So it's tough on him. It's tough on the wide receivers not being able to get open. Something needs to give with the play calling or the plays being run.
And you see Jalen Virgil had, a 66 yard touchdown. I'm like, I want to see more of that. Exactly. All right? Put him in. Let him go. He's a guy who has the speed. He was a track guy in Georgia, and he played at Appalachian State.
Yeah, Appalachian State.
Yeah, so I think he's got it in him. He may be young, but I think he has the skills.
2 of those guys you just mentioned, Greg Dulcich, 1 catch for 11 yards, and then Jalen Virgil, he had the big catch, the touchdown for 66 yards. He was a bright spot for this Broncos team, and he was with Sidney Jones inside the Broncos locker room.
Jalen, a tough, physical battle here in Nashville. The offense, they really got going early, got up to a 10-point lead. What kind of changed after that?
I think, people went down and stuff like that. So, we just kind of got out of our rhythm a little bit. But, we still were making plays out there. Guys had to come in and step in. But, unfortunately, stuff just didn't go the way it's planned. So.
When you have so many guys go down, like you mentioned, what's the mindset? What do you guys tell each other to, keep going out there?
You just got to have that next man up mentality and just make sure that, when every opportunity comes that you're ready, because you just never know. As you can see today, you can go from playing 10 snaps to playing the whole game just because somebody goes down. So you just got to make sure you're always ready.
Jalen, obviously you guys didn't get the win, but it was a big game for you. Your first ever NFL game, your first catch was a touchdown. Walk me through that moment and what that meant for you.
Yeah, it was awesome. We're in a bunch of alignment to the field, and Russ checked to a play where we all, pushed it vertical down the field, and I popped up open, and Russ gave me a good ball, and I was able to, finish it. So.
What did that mean for you? Your first touchdown?
It meant a lot. Yeah, it's been a lot to get to this moment, but I'm definitely blessed, and hopefully I can keep building off of it.
What's the mindset now for the rest of the season? What did head coach Nathaniel Hackett say to you guys here in the locker room after the game?
Yeah, we just got to find a way to just be able to finish these games and just win these games. But, it's not over. And Cortland came up and talked to us, and he was like, we can't be, going about every day, checking the box. We got to go about it every day and try to make the most of it and just continue to get better every time we get a chance to.
Well, Jalen, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Phil, back to you.
Thank you very much, Sydney. Very exciting for Jalen Virgil there, getting his first catch first touchdown. I mean, that worked out nicely there for him. Guys, let's talk about the defensive side of the ball. Derrick Henry coming into this game, 5 consecutive 100-yard games. Today, they held him to just 53.
Yeah, I think that they did a great job. I think a lot of reason why they had success, they started off with a 3-linebacker front. They had Jonas Griffith, Josie Jewell, and Alex Singleton all on the field at the same time. That's going to be a tough group to run against. Hats off to the linebackers. I love seeing them come down here and play. I thought they did a great job. And I like the game plan. Stack the box. Make Ryan Tannehill beat us. If he does, he does. But we're not going to let Derrick Henry control the game, and they didn't today.
Yeah, and Derrick Henry, a guy, once he gets past the defensive line and the linebacker, it's super tough for the secondary to tackle him. Fortunately, our interior defensive linemen, edge guys, linebackers did an amazing job of stopping him, holding him to under 100 yards. And I know the secondary is happy as well.
Yeah, they didn't want to see that, huh, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, Steve knows about it, and Todd knows about it as well. Some of these big running backs, once they start to get stronger as the game goes on, it's hard to slow those guys down because they have a certain level of confidence, and they go back to the sideline and say, keep feeding me. That's why every time you see running backs, they make this kind of justice, keep feeding me. But it wasn't any of that today, and once again, I tip my cap to the guys on defense because you could tell that was a point of emphasis after giving up big plays and big games against Breece Hall, Travis Etienne, and Josh Jacobs. So tip a cap to those guys, but unfortunately it wasn't enough to give the Broncos the victory.
Yeah, well, I mean, what does that say about this Broncos defense? That was the one knock on them, that they give up some yards on the ground. They make the necessary adjustments, and then they can go out and do what they did today.
Yeah, they made adjustments. It's tough to see one side of the ball have a problem, address it, make an adjustment, and be better the next week when the offense continues to have the same problems, the same struggles, and some of the same issues. I want to see more adjustments. I want to see them make more changes to make this team better. So hopefully they're able to do that in the weeks coming up.
That's frustrating for the defense. I mean, you mentioned getting the turnover there, Mike Purcell. You barely can just get a drink of water, and you're already right back on the field. So.
Oh, man, I remember being in a situation like that back when we played, and, man, you're on the sideline like, yeah, we get off the field, getting a little bit of drinking. Defense, like, oh, no, we got to drop everything and get back on the field. And I can imagine it's a bit frustrating, but it seems like this team is together in the locker room. The defense, they don't complain about that. They say, hey, we got to be better. We got to make sure we hold them to fewer points than our offense gets.
Well, I mean, it seemed like, Steve, you handled that situation a whole lot better than I did when I was playing. We were losing to the Colts and Peyton Manning. And, I mean, several times on that drive before my bucket hit the bench, it was like defense up, and we were back on the field, and our offense couldn't sustain the drive. So the way that I dealt with it was totally different from you. There was a guy stacking up Gatorade, and I just went over there, and I had to unleash all this energy, and I just turned the table over.
Come on, Nick.
You know what? It's not my finest hour, but I brought him a towel.
There we go. All right, you helped him out.
Yes.
All right, that's good. That's good.
Yes.
Strangely enough, the Broncos actually won time of possession in this game, so it did not feel like that, but the Broncos did have the ball for longer. One of the standouts on defense today, Josie Jewell, he was with Sidney Jones inside the locker room.
Thanks, Phil. We're here with inside linebacker Josie Jewell. Josie, a tough battle tonight, a big defensive battle. Overall, what do you think of the defense's performance tonight?
Well, pretty good. There's still some stuff we can fix there. Some small little errors. So, we just got to keep on focusing on details and, getting those big plays. And if we have the opportunity to make those big plays, we need to capitalize. And, we're just going to keep on trying to get better every single day and see where that takes us.
You guys limited Derrick Henry to just 53 yards tonight. He's had over 100 rushing yards for the past 5 games. What did that mean for you guys to be able to contain him that way? Yeah,
that was, rule 1 for this week was stop him. And then play off everything else. So, the front guys did great, and everybody else did a great job filling in, behind them. We just need to be able to, capitalize on some big plays that we let happen and just stay fundamental with that stuff.
You guys are in these close physical games every single week. Kind of what's next there's a lot of games left in the season.
Right, yeah. We got a lot more. We just got past halfway here. So, we're going to finish strong, and we're going to come in every day and work. And we're not just checking the box. So, we're going to come and work every day and, see where that takes us again.
As a veteran on this team, what are you telling some of the other guys, just their mindset heading into the rest of the season?
Yeah, there's ups and downs in the season. You have a couple losses, then you get on a hot streak. So I've seen some stuff that's been crazy, and also, other teams just unite and stay together. And, if we stay together the rest of the season here and just stay focused on our fundamentals and doing our job, I think there can be a good ending to this, and there's still some good ball ahead of us, and there's a lot of opportunity.
Josie, appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Phil, back to you.
Thank you very much, Sydney. Back here in studio with Todd Davis, the Hall of Famer Steve Atwater, and Nick Ferguson. Guys, what do you think about the mustache there? He's got some.
I like that.
He's looking good. He's looking like an outlaw.
Hey, I like even more how he was bringing it in that football game. He was super physical with Derrick Henry. I think each time he's played against him, he's been that same way. So, hey, keep it up, Josie.
Yeah, he had a big hit couple of years, 2020, I think, in the backfield against Derrick Henry there. Guys, the flea flicker was a big play from the Titans offense there. What does that do to a defense when you heard Josie Jewell there say rule number one was to stop Derrick Henry? When he gets the ball, everybody starts crashing, and then he turns around and tosses it back to Tannehill.
Yeah, that leaves people wide open, like you saw. Guys are going to converge on the ball when they think Henry has it because, like you said, that was their number one game plan was to stop Derrick Henry. So, that was a good play by them. They took a shot, and it worked out for them.
Well, whenever you have a big play, guess what? Somebody is at fault. And when flea flickers come, guess what? Somebody has bad eyes. Because guess what? The receiver, if he's running full speed down the field, no use of you running up to try to make the tackle because nobody's there. You got to cover your guy, that wide receiver. And I saw our two corners, they got tied up. I think a corner and the safety, I think it was Damari Mathis and P.J. Locke. They got tangled up there, but that's because somebody didn't have the good eyes. And, hey, that's what happens. But, hey, it's a good learning point. When you're responsible for the pass, at least you're trying to run up in the backfield and make the tackle.
Yeah, it puts a lot of stress on the defense, especially the secondary, Nick.
Yeah, it does. And when you really think about it, that was a play that actually broke this game open, right? And as well as defense play, and you go look throughout the entire season, there's always one particular play that now you can say, man, they wish that they had that play back. When you think about what happens with the flea flicker, the defense was trying to do a great job, or they were doing a great job holding Derrick Henry to 53 yards.
But how many times did the cornerback or the safety tackle him?
Well, not a lot. So you get a lot of those guys trying to sniff up across, to the line of scrimmage, trying to make a play. And like you said, bad eyes. And you have to know, okay, well, am I number one in run support or I'm secondary run support? But that was a great play call at the right time by the Titans offensive coordinator. So you got to tip your cap to him because he did a great job understanding what the Broncos were trying to do and therefore took advantage of it.
Especially at that moment in the game, it really felt like, okay, this was a critical moment. The Broncos were up 10-7, and then you get the touchdown, and it really just changed things a lot. One guy that almost never makes a mistake is Pat Surtain II. Todd, yet another great game for him out there today.
Yeah, he's still locked down. I see that they rarely throw at him, and I probably wouldn't either if I was playing quarterback. He's locked down. He's great. I think he's physical. He makes a lot of plays on the ball, so I wouldn't throw at him. That's just a good game plan for opposing offenses.
Yeah, man, he's still the same Pat Surtain that we knew coming out of college. He's the same. He's been durable. He's been reliable. He doesn't make mistakes, and he's always right there. I'm with you. I wouldn't throw at him either. I mean, the good quarterbacks don't do that, right?
Yeah, when you look at PS2, there were some rankings that came out early this year, a couple of weeks ago, that is, where they were saying, well, who are some of the top corners? Now, he was in the top 10, but he wasn't in the top 3. I like to put him in the top, make him the top corner in this league because so far, he's earned that Deion Sanders status. And I know it may seem like a little early to say that, but you look at every single game, he's making some type of play. And you know that you're a baller when they don't even throw at you. So if I'm Ejiro Evero moving forward, I know I have my lockdown corner. So I'm going to use my safeties and play a little more aggressive style of football.
Does everybody start shading to the other side there, Todd?
Yeah, you start having guys lean and help in other positions. You may have a safety come down and help a linebacker knowing that Pat Surtain is okay one-on-one, or have the safety kind of look to the other side of the field, see if they have some crossers, some overs, and let Pat Surtain kind of hold down the field. So he really does, tremendous work for the defense being able to lock down a whole side of the field. That really is, I think that's a testament to why the Broncos have been so good.
Yeah, when one side is just completely locked down, you don't have to worry about it. That helps tremendously. We heard Ryan, on the broadcast, Ryan Tannehill said to those guys earlier that it's been a long time since they'd seen a cornerback like Pat Surtain. And let's hear from Surtain inside the locker room. He was speaking with the media.
Good play calling on their end. I would not necessarily say that it was all on us. I think they put a great scheme together, going tempo. They ran the right plays for every defense we had. So it's stuff like that. You're correct.
Defense played great. The one you would like back is that flea flicker. What had it? Was it mass biting on the play or?
Yeah, we bit a little bit, and they ran over the top. Just some minor issues we could fix going on later. So, it's just.
What's the belief going forward? I know Nate said after the game, you can go on a run in this league at any time. Do you guys believe in that, and what will it take to get on that run?
Yeah, we still midway through the season. We can still go on a run, but the time is now to do that. So we all got ready to get it, focus on this game coming up, on the important division game. So.
He says the time is now. That's Pat Surtain II talking inside the Broncos locker room. Obviously, a lot of disappointment considering the build-up to this game. It felt like, okay, if the Broncos could get this win today, they got the Raiders coming up, they got the Panthers coming up, potential for a run to get back into this playoff picture. Now you lose this one. What does that mean for them now, Todd?
It makes every game a must-win from here on out, starting with the Raiders next week. I think they'll be able to do a good job and get a win against the Raiders, but this was a tough one to lose. Being 3-6 is somewhere you never want to be within your football season, and I think they've dug themselves into a hole that they're going to have to do everything they can to dig out of, and that starts with next week.
Yeah, and I think that they're going to have that mentality. Many guys say it, it's just one game at a time, but you're really looking on down the line and like, oh, man, we got to win these next, 10, 11 games when they need to really just have their focus on the next opponent. And when you start looking forward, I think that, messes up your concentration for the team that you got to play against.
Yeah, you can just definitely tell by the interviews we listened to today, this is real deflation. We've heard guys talk like maybe after the Chargers game, Cortland Sutton, some of the other guys spoke, but I've never seen this team this way in the locker room before. Mm-hmm. So you could just look at the body language, you can listen to their voice. They're really deflated, and you have to wonder mentally, can they really push past this loss? I know Raiders and Carolina are definitely coming up, 2 winnable games, but I worry about these guys in the locker room mentally, whether they think that they actually can actually accomplish this feat. Jacksonville was great. We all celebrated that, but now that's seemed like so far in the past. Can they now turn the page and move forward?
How do they do that? They just look internally here, or what's a message from Nathaniel Hackett? Because I guess like what I'm saying is like in my mind, doubt starts to creep in here, and so how do you block that out?
It's tough. The doubt is definitely creeping in. I don't think the message can come from Nathaniel Hackett. I don't think it can come from anybody in the front office or anybody on the coaching staff. It has to come from inside the locker room. Those are the guys that are on the field. Those are the guys that are going to be making the plays, and those are the guys whose energy that is going to be most affected by how they're performing or playing. I think the leaders need to step up. We talk about this every week. I know Justin Simmons is a leader on defense, has had many conversations and said a lot of strong, powerful messages to the team. And I think it's coming across as well as the defense is playing. Somebody needs to talk to the offense. Of course, we're going to say Russell Wilson. He's the leader. He needs to get the job done. They need to make things happen and make a change.
That's what I guess I was going to get. That's another point here is that when the offense is the side that's struggling and Russell Wilson's supposed to be the leader, but he's part of these struggles, do you believe in a message when it comes from a guy like Russ?
Yeah, you definitely believe in it because of what he's done in the past. And, he also is a positive person in that locker room when I know some people aren't as positive because in every locker room, you got some guys who are super positive, and then you got the total other end of the spectrum where they're like, oh, man, we suck. So there needs to be a person at the lead like Russell Wilson who has that positive attitude and who's done it, and they believe in them. But everybody else has to dig deep within themselves and know that we got some guys who aren't used to starting, and you got to make sure that they're up to speed to where their level of play is on par with the starter.
I mean, let's be totally honest. We've reached the point in the season where talk is cheap. I don't want to hear you tell me about what you're going to do. I want you to show me what you're going to do. This team and every player on it, they have to approach this like this is the preseason, right? Because when we're out there from training camp, guys are doing extra work. They're putting extra time in. after practice. And we all know there's no scheduled time once they finish and they blow that final whistle for practice. You still can stay around the facility and do work. You still can work on your pass protection. You still can work on that offensive line communication. There's so many things that you still can do. So this whole idea, let's just talk about it. Let's have one of these players only meeting for what? What do they really accomplish? You're repeating the same things over and over. What you want to do is now start to put in the work, and then that work is going to show on the field. Because you can talk ad nauseum about what you're going to do, but will anyone really believe it until they actually see it?
Something's got to change because these games all feel like the same thing. I mean, it always comes down to, this was the 5th loss in a one-possession game for the Broncos. It just seems like every game it comes right down to the wire, no matter who the opponent is.
Yeah, they have the same issues. That's what frustrates me. And I agree with you, Nick. I think you got to show with your actions. They continue to have the same issues, same problems week in and week out and lose close games. I don't really know what to say at this point. I'm trying to find some words myself to say how they can get better. They can make changes. They know what they need to get better at. It's just simply actions now.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Let's go back out to Nissan Stadium one last time. Hear from a rookie tight end. We talked about him earlier, Greg Dulcich.
It just proves that we're right there, exactly, yeah. So we're doing a lot of good things. Defense is doing a great job. And offensively, we're doing a good job as well. Like, we just got to, finish in those key moments.
Greg, when you see guys, offensive line, wide receivers going down, how much more difficult is it to make those adjustments in game?
Well, it's just tough to see those guys go down. Those are your best friends, those are your buddies, those are your teammates. So you never like to see them go down. But it's always next man up, and everyone that came in. Jalen scored a touchdown, first catch, that was awesome. And then Luke and Quinn, they did a great job coming in at the O-line. So everyone stepped up and everyone knew what they had to do. Everyone got their job done. It's just as an offense, we all got to kind of be better.
Are these opportunities where down the road, later on, this is going to pay off and be better for you guys?
Yeah, everyone getting that game experience is going to be good for us. And it's just going to come down to all of us finishing, all 11 guys finishing every play.
Is it harder because they're so close, or does that make you think, okay, we really are one play away from turning all these games around?
Yeah, you can look at it either way, and what's great about this team is we always look at it as, hey, we're right there. We just got to clean some stuff up. We got to finish, and that's kind of the mentality going into next week.
That's Broncos rookie tight end Greg Dulcich. Win or lose, he still has that hair. So
yeah, looking good. Looking good, my man.
Let's just go around here one more time before we say goodbye here. Just where are the Broncos at right now, and what needs to happen this week before they welcome in the Raiders?
They're in a hole. They have to dig themselves out of this hole that they've created. They have to go to work. Like you said, Nick, actions speak louder than words. I think they have to do everything they can, act like every game is a must-win game. In the last game of the season, put your heart out there, put your heart on the line. All those young guys that are coming in and playing, step up. We need you to play well. We need you to execute. We need you to not have costly penalties to put us in, long third downs or, make the drives longer. I think we need to do a better job as a team. So hopefully they're able to do that. I think they have a great opponent next week in the Raiders to be able to get a win. I hope they just execute and get that win.
Yeah, well, we do have a lot of young guys that are going to be contributing, a lot of guys who aren't used to starting. I would say, man, just dig into those playbooks, get some extra work in practice, make sure that you know your assignment, and then forget about it. Then just let your play do the talking and come out and play a solid game. The only thing you can control is your effort and your knowledge of the playbook. And if you put those things together, don't worry about the outcome. The outcome will be good.
Yeah, you want to just kind of make sure you execute and you put in a little more study time this week. But if I'm Greg Dulcich, I'm going to go to Coach Hackett and say, typically I don't do this, but I'm going to channel my inner Keyshawn Johnson and throw me the darn ball. If you want to win, throw me the darn ball. That's what Greg Dulcich should do. That's how you get this Broncos team back on track. You want answers? I got answers, and that is an answer right there for you.
There we go.
I like that, Nick.
I like that,
It
Nick.
does seem like whenever Dulcich has a big game, the Broncos offense does better. A lot of guys left this game with injury. We'll find out a little bit more about them later. Jerry Jeudy left with an ankle injury. Billy Turner a knee. Graham Glasgow a shoulder. And K'Waun Williams left late there with a knee injury. So we'll find out more. But for now, it's a heartbreak yet again for this Broncos team. 17-10 the final. The loss to the Tennessee Titans drops the Broncos to 3-6 on the season. That's going to do it for us. For Nick Ferguson, Steve Atwater, and Todd Davis, I am Phil Milani. This has been Broncos Postgame Live.